Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Convergence of Wealth and Health Key Moments That Matter. I have one of my most favorite people, even though I'm not really allowed to have favorites in the industry, but Philipp's on that secret list of people who are my favorite. He's the CEO of Bento Engine. If you're unfamiliar with me and who I am, my name is Christine. I'm the founder and CEO of Caribou. Philipp, how are you today?
Christine, doing great. Wonderful to see you and returning the compliments, you too, with your work that is truly advisor and client-centric. I find nothing but inspirational. I really look forward to our conversation today.
Me as well. Thank you so much. We've got some people who are still signing in, joining the webinar, so we'll give them maybe 30 seconds. And I'll ask you the big question that's on everyone's mind this week. Who you got on Sunday, Philipp? Niners, Chiefs, Taylor Swift?
I am a long-suffering New York Jets fan, so the past few years have been very, very rough for this, football fan. Between the two teams, I guess I'll go with the underdog, if that makes sense.
Everyone's saying that, but I feel like I don't know if the Niners are really considered an underdog. I feel like, we've got some chat going on here. David said the Chiefs are going down, so you've got David on your side.
Look, I thought that was a diplomatic way of saying I'm rooting for your hometown team.
Yeah, that's true. So I win either way. This is my outlook, Philipp. So I'm in San Francisco. The Niners win. It's going to be a bunch of fun here in the city, parade and so on. I'm sure it will be great. But I'm a huge Swiftie. So
I was just about to say, before we move on, the really big question, at least in our house, was, will Taylor Swift make it back in time? That is keeping our teenage kids, in suspense.
She will. We've gone very off topic, but one of the funniest kind of Taylor Swift related football memes that I've seen is someone posted in regards to, in physics class in high school when they made you calculate the speed at which planes take off and all of that jazz. And people thought, I'm never going to have to use these skills. Well, now people are using them to calculate whether or not she'll make it back to.
And now the kids are very engaged in school. I get it.
Exactly. The important things that matter. What we wish you and I people learned a little bit more in school is things related to financial planning, things related to proactive planning. A lot of the advisors too maybe could empathize with some of that, some tangible skills, maybe around taxes or estate planning. And what we're actually going to dive in today is related predominantly to healthcare related life events. And part of why I feel and speak so highly of you, Philipp, is because you really help advisors uncover these moments that matter. That's the framing in which you put them in. These are truly the moments where clients value expertise, value a deeper planning experience or an advanced planning experience, if that's more in the lingo that you utilize, and where they could truly use your support to make a decision. As a financial advisor, there are so many different areas of clients' financial lives where now you're almost expected to provide guidance. I think that there are some areas like estate and tax planning that could be even considered kind of table stakes in the industry today. I had some slides, but I'm experiencing some screen share issues. So I'm going to just walk you through how in the T3 survey last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in Vegas, and in the T3 survey, they outline each different category like estate and tax and healthcare planning. And this is the first time healthcare planning had a category in the survey. It previously was omitted from the survey, so that tells you something.
Big milestone driving awareness of that important service component in our industry.
Yes, huge win, right? And healthcare planning has apparently a 5% market adoption. I would actually argue that it's probably even lower than 5%. 5% seems a bit generous to me. And that's where estate planning was 3 years ago. In 2021, estate planning had a 5% market adoption, and now it's at 40. So if you think about that explosive growth, tax planning, I think, went from 15 to 45, if I'm not mistaken, around that same time frame. So huge growth in these planning areas, and Philipp's tool, which he's about to dive into, is going to help it already is helping, but he's going to showcase how it helps advisors uncover some of those opportunities to have these deeper conversations with clients. So Philipp, why don't I turn it over to you to kind of get us started and walk us through what these key moments that matter really are in the framing that you summarize them in.
Happy to do that. I'll share 3 slides to bring the moments that matter and the healthcare implications and opportunities to life a bit, and then I'll hand it back over to you. We'll then showcase our respective offerings. Okay.
Sounds great.
I am screen sharing. The entire screen. Can you all see a PowerPoint building up?
Yes, we see it, Philipp.
Excellent. So first off, as you alluded to, life is full of moments that matter. There are different types of moments that matter. On top here, we see 15 age-based milestones, ranging from 14 working age all the way to 73 RMDs, that really matter in the US because they trigger distinct wealth management risks or opportunities by law. 10 of them on the right pertain to retirement. 4 or 5 of them on the left pertain to the coming of age of the next gen of the client family. We also have life events at the bottom of the page here. Birth of a child, first job, starting a business, buying a home, getting married, divorced, receiving a windfall, moving to a new state. You get it. These events not always happen, but oftentimes happen in the lives of your clients and prospects. And when they do, they represent major opportunities to lead with advice. So collectively, across the 15 age-based milestones and the life events, you have dozens of opportunities to proactively engage and serve your clients during moments that matter. Now, when it comes to healthcare, I marked here in green the many moments that matter that have healthcare implications. Top of the page, age 26, the children of your clients have to get off their parents' healthcare coverage and find their own coverage if they haven't done so already. Age 55, those utilizing HSAs, and thank God that it's becoming more popular strategy, can make catch-up contributions in those HSAs. And last not least, age 65, of course, the big Medicare set of questions. Likewise, at the bottom of the page, not all, but many of the life events have healthcare implications as well. So let me stop sharing here by summarizing moments that matter. Many of them have meaningful healthcare implications.
Well, Philipp, if you don't mind, pull that screen back up for a quick second, just because there's actually a couple that I don't know if the audience is paying good attention to. Maybe someone can point out there's a couple there in the bottom that are not highlighted, but that do apply. I can see.
Take me to school.
I can see 1, 2, 3. So these are the moments that sometimes advisors don't even realize that they can add this to the list of things that they can be talking about to their clients. So chat's quiet, so I'm going to go ahead and point them out. 1, off to college. Clients' children will get student health plans. Sometimes those student health plans aren't great. Maybe they want to go on the marketplace plan in that state, especially if they're traveling out of state for school. So that is one that we see advisors really love to connect with that next generation and start to really build that relationship with the children and show them how you can deliver value in planning related activities. Another would be selling a business. You're going to lose your health insurance when you sell your business. Sometimes they keep you on as a consultant, but that doesn't mean you get benefits. So that needs to be either negotiated in the settlement of the business or plan B needs to be figured out. Similar for getting a divorce. Sometimes we do see that in the settlement of the divorce that health insurance will continue to be provided, but if one of the spouses, isn't the working professional and has had their benefits from the other individual, that can be a really stressful moment for them with everything else that they have going on. So those are 3 others that I did want to point out where it's not as obvious, but those can be opportunities too where healthcare can be brought into the conversation.
Spot on. Thank you for pointing that out. And thank you for bringing to life the meaningful healthcare dimensions that many of these moments that matter indeed have. So that really brought it to life nicely. With that, back over to you, Christine.
So we have created a sort of fictitious client scenario, one that is super common in working with majority of clients. I would say not all advisors focus on retirees, but that is really one of the big milestones that clients are working towards. It's okay, they've been accumulating all this wealth, now they're retiring. And oftentimes that retirement means that they need to find new health insurance options, as well as if they're over 65, that might mean Medicare. And if they're under 65, that might mean the marketplace. So Phil, when advisors are using your product, how are you uncovering that as an opportunity for them? What does that whole experience look like on Bento Engine?
Let me bring that to life. I'll use a few PowerPoint pages and I'll pop over into a in CRM, live demonstration. And Christine, I'll use a fact pattern, a client case that then you extend and drive home, so to speak, with the Caribou set of solutions. I am screen sharing again. Can you all see a PowerPoint building up?
Yes, we see it.
Excellent. Quick power walk through the Bento solution. What is Bento? Think of us as a combination of technology and content. Technology to surface next best action alerts, combined then with the content that you need to actually engage and serve your clients. And as we established, we focus on moments that matter in the life journeys of those that you serve. By way of context, we established this in the US. There are 15 age-based milestones that matter, 10 of them on the right pertaining to retirement, 5 of them on the left pertaining to the coming of age of the next gen of the client family that thoughtful advisors want to connect with in early and constructive ways. There are 3 key Bento programs from a content point of view that we make available to client-centric financial advisors. On top, our Life in Numbers program focuses on these 15 distinct age points. At the bottom, our Life Events program, you guessed it, focuses on life events. And then in the top left, we also have a Children and Wealth program that helps advisors to educate their client families on FinLit opportunities for the rising generation, starting at the tender age of 4, starting very early with financial literacy for the next generation. How Bento works, real quick, advisors continue to use their CRM for you. There's no new system to learn, no new login, no new app on your workstation. You probably have too many already. You continue to work in your CRM. Bento connects via APIs into the backend of the CRM. There, our advice engine constantly scans your entire book of business to identify upcoming advice opportunities. When we find one, we pull the right content from our proprietary purpose-built content library, and then at the right point in time, very proactively, we alert you in your CRM and we give you a packet of age-appropriate information to execute with. Let me pivot over into a CRM and bring that to life in the flesh. Can you all see a Salesforce environment building up?
We see it.
Wonderful. Christine, you are our advisor. I'm going to pick on you, okay? It's Monday morning. After your 3rd cup of coffee, you fire up your CRM. And given that you're half organized, you'll go to your task list, your to-dos for the day. As you can see here, some of the tasks have nothing to do with Bento, everything to do with your regular course of business. However, you also see these age-based alerts, which indeed were piped by the system into your CRM. If you simply do not want to advise, say, Jaden Smith on age 14, getting working papers to legally start earning income, and then putting that legally earned income into custodial IRA accounts. If you do not want to advise that way for whatever reason, you simply delete the task and move on with your day. If, however, let's say age 65 Medicare for Jack Mason catches your eye, Jack Mason is a great client of yours, you haven't spoken to him in a while, then you follow this link and boom, this standard alert structure pops up for you. The structure is always the same. Hey, Christine, your good client Jack is about to turn 65 in 6 months. In case you haven't advised yet on Medicare basics, now would be a good time. And then we give you links to compliance pre-approved content coming in multiple formats. I'll bring that to life in a second. We wrap it up with best practices to consider. Oftentimes, our micro engagements can serve as a ramp into more fulsome financial planning. And we build a mental bridge at the very bottom here to the monetizable solutions that may matter in this dialogue. You can now say, thank you, CRM, for that helpful heads up. I was close to forgetting that my good client Jack is about to turn 65. I haven't discussed Medicare yet. Jack belongs to the 60% or so of Americans who are visual learners, who actually enjoy and benefit from looking at a well-structured PowerPoint or PDF page. In that case, you would follow link number 4 and access the PDF version of the advice. Christine, did a PDF pop up for you?
I see age 65, get familiar with Medicare on top.
Excellent. That's the PDF version of the advice. The materials are short and sweet, 3-4 pages. They are compliance pre-approved and ready to go. They often start with the what. What is Medicare? How does it work? How do the pieces fit together? What's the process of enrolling? And then last not least, we keep everybody safe, disclaimers, further reading, the underlying US tax code, and current as of. You would use this set of materials with a visual learner. Not all of your clients are visual learners. Some of your clients actually hate looking at PowerPoint pages. They want to have a conversation instead. In that case, you would follow link number 2 and access the talking points version of the advice. Christine, did a Word document called Talking Points pop up for you?
Yeah.
Wonderful. That resource helps you to prepare for the conversation, to frame the conversation, and then it spoon feeds to you the key messages to relay to facilitate an impactful dialogue on the topic at hand. If your client Jack is the constantly on the go type, living in his email box, and you want to fire off an email to get things going, we've got you covered. In that case, you would follow link number 1 and access the email version of the advice. What you would do here in red is customize the intro and the outro. The rest, again, is compliance pre-approved and locked. Last not least, if it's been a while since you last advised on Medicare, if you need a refresher yourself, then you would follow this link to the internal use only advisor FAQs. Think of these as a cheat sheet for your back pocket. Organized around the what, the why, and the how. These are our most technical documents. They're simple FAQ style. And if your eyes are very good, here our subject matter experts always cite the underlying US tax code so that everybody can backtrace what the advice is actually based on. So yes, by now there is a strong advisor training, a learning and development aspect baked into the Bento system. As I wrap up here, before I hand over to you, Christina, I hope you all agree this is deep bi-directional integration into the CRM. Bento surfaces advice opportunities for you to pursue. We not only tell you what to advise on, to whom, and when, we also give you all the materials you need in multiple formats so that you can engage your clients using the best mode of communication. When it comes to Medicare and all the other topics, think of these as great discussion starters that get the right conversation going on the right topics at the right point in time. Medicare in particular is such a rich, consequential, and important topic. I'm sure, Christine, you'll do a wonderful job taking it to the next level using the Caribou system. And with that, let me stop sharing. Back over to you.
So there's a couple questions. There's two from me and then one in the chat. We'll start with the chat first for our guests. Christina says, wow, these materials are quite comprehensive. How do you create and manage them? You referenced how you cite the tax code and so on. How frequently are you updating these materials and what specific references are they coming from?
Great question. We build and maintain our materials with a pool of recognized subject matter experts. I want to emphasize here and maintain because, as you well know, laws and regulations change all the time. Mm-hmm. And when they do, we quickly update the materials so that our clients can serve their clients always with the latest and greatest. The update sequence is at least annual review and then ad hoc updates in between as needed.
Okay, and then that process of integrating with Salesforce, which is just one of the CRMs that you all integrate with, how long does that process take?
Another great question. As you saw earlier on the pages, we integrate into 7 fine systems. The advisor experience, the client experience is very much in line with what I just showcased in Salesforce. And the integration timeline ranges from minutes to hours. So we're not talking days or weeks or months. It's literally minutes if you use very modern open API systems such as Redtail and Wealthbox, which are oftentimes used by boutique RIAs. For those type of systems, you can actually go to our website and click Install Now and do the integration in a 20-minute self-directed journey. We simplified things that way. So literally minutes for Redtail and Wealthbox. For enterprise type systems, should we have any Salesforce Dynamics users on the phone, it's hours of work with your CRM expert. So the integration lift is truly a light one. Thank you to Open APIs.
I was going to say that's a quick implementation process. Definitely very easy. I have one question because you mentioned it, but just in case it was overlooked by any members of the audience, and I have my own answer to this question, but what's your best practice for how proactive you are in contacting clients when they're coming up on one of these moments that matters?
So at point of onboarding, we give our clients choice as to the amount of lead time they would like to see. We have 2 out-of-the-box programs, one called long lead times, one called short lead times, that they can choose from. They can also customize the delivery of the alerts and customize the lead time. Very importantly, Christine, the lead time should differ advice opportunity to advice opportunity. For example, when the kids turn 14, 2 months prior is perfectly fine to start the conversation. Here's how we get them working papers. Here's how we open custodial IRA accounts. I hope you concur 2 months for Medicare might be too rushed. 6
Not enough time.
Would be way better. Likewise, age 62, Social Security benefits. Do you start taking now or are you better off waiting until later? Warrants some time. So long story short, the amount of lead time is opportunity specific, and we give advisors choice how proactive to be.
I'm on board with that. I was going to say that even, our fictitious client account here that I'm about to walk you all through, their birth date, as Philipp mentioned, is in July. So working backwards from July being the month that they could essentially start their Medicare coverage, that would mean April, May, and June are the 3 months leading up to that process where you could get it started. February, March is probably the latest I would start it. We're even seeing a lot of advisors start this conversation at 64. We have one of our partners actually, they send their clients a happy 64th birthday card and tell them that it's time to start planning for Medicare even 12 months in advance. So that's a really great strategy. And it means that your client is going to come to you with Medicare questions. They're going to look to you as a resource. They're not going to ask their neighbor or some insurance broker that they know, or just follow what they see on television. And that's really, really important. I want to stress that, we don't expect advisors to become experts in health insurance, but to play on the football theme, which is where our conversation all started, clients are expecting you to be the quarterback of those conversations and not have to find their own resources or rely on what they read online or what their neighbor did or their friend tells them or the commercial that they see. They're expecting to get that information from you. So Philipp and the Bento Engine platform really take that to the next level in identifying the opportunity to beat your client to the punch first and foremost. I think that's what's super important, is planning proactively and being the one to go to your client first versus waiting for them to come to you, and then having a bunch of great resources and materials in a bunch of different fashions, visual, written, and so on, to help to educate the client. Because for something like Medicare especially, there's a huge knowledge gap, and people often don't understand what they're signing up for, what the coverage is, what the costs will be, because the people they're talking to might have misaligned incentives. So clients really are expecting you to, again, quarterback that relationship with them, and kind of taking it even a step further than Bento Engine is actually being able to help them make a decision, help them choose a health plan. So you all see my screen right now with a list of households and an orange circle on the top left. That orange circle is where your firm's logo could be if you are interested in white labeling the platform. Many of our partners do, because they want that continuity, the client to understand that, hey, you're getting access to this service because you're my client. That makes them feel really exclusive. So you've got Susie and Jack, those same clients. Jack's turning 65, but just to make it even more complicated, the scenario that I manufactured is Susie was on Jack's employer benefits, but now that Jack's turning 65 and he's retiring, Susie's 62 and she doesn't know what she's going to do. So I'm going to walk you through what that whole household situation looks like, taking it even a step further than just Medicare, but focusing on the entire household. Hopefully at 62 and 65, they don't have any dependents still under 26. But if that was the case, they would also be involved in this whole process too. So it's another great, not excuse, but another great opportunity rather to work with that next generation and start to build a relationship with their children. So Bento Engine's identified the opportunity. You've gone to your client and communicated to them that you can help them make a decision regarding their Medicare and marketplace insurance in this case. And the client says, absolutely, sign me up. I want your help. So all you've done in the Health Planner platform, which is what we call our software, is you've added Susie and Jack Mason's family here by just adding their first name, last name, and email, and you've invited them to the platform. When you do that, the client has to complete a profile. They will tell us their medications, their doctors, which hospital they would want to go to in an emergency. They will tell us their current health insurance information, if they have an HSA, their date of birth, their income. These are all really important factors in assessing health plan options. They will also answer a few additional questions related to what their priorities and preferences are. Are they comfortable being restricted to a local network of doctors, or do they want more flexibility? Do they travel? Do they have a second home? Do they have a preferred insurance carrier that they want to work with, or someone they've had a terrible experience with and never want to work with again? These are all the sorts of things that really matter when you're picking your health insurance plan. And once they've submitted that information, which they're doing at home on their own, you as the advisor are not involved in collecting any of that information, or you don't have to sit down with them and do it. That's when you will get a completed analysis. So you'll be notified when those analysis results are ready, and you'll be able to review what the health plan options are that are best suited to your client's needs. So we've got Susie, we've got Jack. Here you can see customized detailed notes about their unique situation. So what's happening in this household, as we went through already, is spouse is turning 65. They're also coinciding that with their retirement. So coverage is going to end at the end of June for them. Jack's going to go on Medicare. Susie's going to go on the marketplace. So there's some specifics in the notes here surrounding that. Just because we're focusing on Medicare, let's start here first to really show you how in-depth our process is and how detailed this analysis can really get. First of all, understanding the differences between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage is really, really important. Making sure that the client understands the configurations of both and any considerations or restrictions of either plan options is something that we want to keep top of mind. I think Philipp's got a lot of great education around that too, but it is also included here. Once they've been through that, they can also learn how their reported income, so very specific to them, changes their Part B and Part D costs specifically. So based on what they've reported as their income, it will show different bands in terms of what their income related monthly adjusted amount will be, which is what IRMA stands for, if you were ever wondering what that stands for. And then it will also walk them through those two options being original Medicare and Medicare Advantage with tangible health plans, real health plans that they can actually enroll in. So here you can see that side-by-side comparison of original Medicare and Medicare Advantage. You see the premiums, the out-of-pocket costs, the estimated drug costs, and then the total estimated annual financial risk of both of these configurations based on what we've determined is the plan that matches their needs best. So we've chosen one plan to create these figures. So based on what the client actually selects, you could potentially modify these figures, and you take these and you plug them back into Money Guide Pro, eMoney, Right Capital, whatever planning tool you're using. Now you actually have a concrete idea of what they're going to spend in the upcoming year based on the health plan that they pick. This is the high-level summary. As you scroll down, you actually get into the actual plan options. So if we're focused on the left side, the one that's highlighted green, which is the one that we've determined actually better suits the client's needs based on their profile, you can see that you need to add in a Medigap plan, which is also referred to as supplemental insurance, to your Part A and B to plug the 20% that Medicare Parts A and B don't cover. So here are 4 actual health plans in their zip code that they can choose from. You can see different characteristics of those plans, including the star ratings, the premium, any household discount, and any out-of-pocket costs, if applicable. There's a G and a high deductible G plan option offered to this family. Sometimes there are plan Ns or other lettered plans as well presented, depending on the client's unique characteristics. And then every plan will have that estimated annual financial risk figure built into it. That is summarized on that top number that I already showed you. We do the same for the drug plan. So you need to add drug coverage to your medical with Medicare. So here you can see out of the 21 options available, we've narrowed it down to 3. We've actually checked the prices of their medications at the exact pharmacy that they go to and provided that information to you and to the client to determine which plan is the best plan.
Wow.
You see here that medication names are redacted, so you won't see medication names. Even if drugs aren't covered, we help to walk clients through why that might be, if they need to get prior authorization, or maybe Medicare doesn't cover this drug. For fun, this one non-covered drug is actually Ozempic. Medicare does not cover it, but we do include retail costs of those drugs if you just go to the pharmacy and pay out of pocket for them. So we do even price that out for drugs that are not covered. Medicare Advantage is going to be that all-in-one option. It includes Part A, Part B, your medical, and then your drug. And you can see here there's 3 Medicare Advantage plans that they can choose from as well. So as we're walking clients through the results of these analyses, we're really ensuring that they understand, again, the differences between the 2 options. Here you can see same premium, deductible, out-of-pocket maximum information, but Medicare Advantage plans have networks, and that is something that you definitely need to consider if you are going on to a Medicare Advantage plan. On Medicare.gov right now, your clients cannot see which doctors are in and out of network. So if they're shopping around for this on their own, they might be choosing blindly. They might just be choosing based off cost. And that is typically not a great strategy because especially when you're 65 and above, you have care providers that are very important to you, specialists, cardiologists, urologists, things of that nature, where you want to make sure they're in network. Otherwise, your potential out-of-pocket costs and the risk of those costs can get very high. With medical, you have drug embedded in most plans into Medicare Advantage as well. You want to make sure that clients have drug coverage unless they have drug coverage offered through the VA or a spouse who is still actively employed. So the active is really important. COBRA coverage does not count as credible coverage per Medicare standards. So if a client is not enrolled in drug coverage through Medicare and has COBRA instead, if they ever wanted to enroll in the market in Medicare in the future, they would have a late enrollment penalty. So it's a really important thing to consider. When you get these results, you are not on your own to deliver the results to clients. We do not, again, expect you as the advisor to become a healthcare expert. It's way too nuanced for you to focus on that. All you do is you come in here and you schedule a consultation call with our team. There's a 24-hour buffer built into this. So we're Thursday, February 8th today. We probably won't see many times for the 9th given that. But next week, you can get on our calendar early in the week. So you can usually have us walk your client through the results of the analysis within a few days. That being said, even though we're pretty readily available, again, you want to be planning at least that 6 months in advance of that transition. Just to show you guys lightly, because the concept is quite similar, although the plans that we are pulling from are different and the design is slightly different, this is what it would look like for Susie. So Susie's going on to the individual marketplace, also called the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare plans. This is a totally different set of plans, different configurations, different risk profiles too. You can see here the estimated annual financial risk in some cases is 2 or 3 times higher than it is on Medicare. So we really need to be planning for these costs, hopefully even more than 6 months of advance. You don't want your client finding out 6 months before their retirement that they're about to spend, $10,000 a year on premiums when they had no idea that that was coming. So similar concept in that there's from dozens of plans available in the market, 3 to 4 typically for consideration. And we are going to check the client's doctors, medications, pharmacies, any of the details that they would need would be checked here. And we can walk clients through what the differences between these plans are, how HSAs can come into play, what's a PPO versus an HMO and what that all means, and ensure that clients have everything that they need to enroll. So just on that enrollment piece, very briefly, we provide the plan ID for all the plans so clients can enroll directly online, either on healthcare.gov or the state-specific marketplace or medicare.gov, or they just pick up the phone and call the carrier directly, in this case, United Healthcare, and tell them the plan ID that they want. We are not brokers. We do not sell health plans. We represent 100% of the plans available in the market. So we are not limited in the scope of plan options, and we make no commissions or no referral fees for sending clients to any of these insurance companies. So you can really count on us for providing a completely objective overview of what the best health plan options are for your clients. If they have any follow-up questions, we're available via an inbox functionality as well. You can download these results. You can invite the client into the office, include it in their financial planning binder. There's so much that you can do with this. And really, the testimonies that we get around this is usually around the same theme of, I'm so grateful that this was offered through my firm. So although we do all the work, you typically get all the credit, which is great. And then the second piece is, this was confusing and complex, and Caribou made it so much more clear to me. And I think that that's really what, as a financial advisor, you're looking for. You're looking to simplify their overall financial situation, help them make complex decisions, and ensure that they're confident in those decisions so that they can live their best retirement in this case, right? And ensure that they have an idea of what their expenses are going to be, and they aren't surprised by those expenses. A lot of what we're trying to do is stop healthcare from being so reactive and really help it be a lot more proactive.
Hey, Christine.
So I've been talking for a lot. Philip, questions? Anything from you?
Wonderful introduction to the powerful Caribou system. I've seen your product mature and evolve over the past few years, and I'm struck today as I attentively listen to you by 3 dimensions, which I would love to share. Number one, the notion of co-creation between the client and the advisor, doing this together, inputting, iterating, a very powerful one in my mind. Secondly, how you broke the very complex question of Medicare into digestible steps that flow nicely and build on each other, really noteworthy and impactful. And last not least, the amount of client-specific personalization that you're building into the program. When you think about doctor choices, when you think about specific drug costs, is beneficial for everybody involved. Big fan, kudos, congrats to you and the team.
Yeah, thank you. You've probably not seen this version of the platform. It's been a few months or maybe even up to a year since we've done one of these.
So, you are evolving.
Yeah. And it's all based on client and advisor feedback too. So, our oldest client, which we're very proud of, was 89 years old and was able to navigate our software. So we recognize who our end user is and have really built it for them. And I love the way you frame the co-creation aspect. And really, I think that's what both of our companies are really trying to work towards, is how can we just create more of those moments. And just being on this one screen actually made me think of something that I overlooked. Advisors who say, I don't really want to touch healthcare, it's not related to what I do. Well, if you're working with clients in their retirement and you're planning distributions, withdrawals, you're planning their income and what it will be over the course of their retirement, that impacts their premiums, right? So you might have a client that doesn't qualify for a premium tax credit, but if we reduce their income by just a little bit, then they could get a huge break on their health insurance premiums, and that might be worth the difference. And at least doing that until they're Medicare eligible, at which point the bands are a little bit more forgiving and you have a little bit more wiggle room. So this is where it's really important to create those moments where both the advisor and client are coming together. Again, not expecting that the advisor is the expert in that, but working together, we can uncover those opportunities.
Exactly. And I would suggest also that if you, the advisor, don't help on these topics, somebody else may. Mm-hmm. There's certain, business risk involved from a laissez-faire attitude. So reframing these moments that matter as opportunities to really step up and lead with advice benefits everybody.
Exactly. And I figured out a little workaround to kind of show the slides that I had wanted to show in the beginning. My preview app doesn't want to work, but it seems like Chrome is okay with sharing screen. So to that exact point, Philip, in the top right, we see a graph of why millionaire investors leave their advisors. One of the top thing there is not being proactive in contacting clients. I think that you and I and our companies are both really helping to solve that problem and surface those opportunities so that it's one less thing that the advisor has to remember on their own. Not providing me with good ideas or advice. The last one, only talking about my investments and not my overall financial situation. These are all really important things. And, I'm not a big fan of fear tactics, but if you flip it the other way and think of it in like the glass half full way, these are opportunities where you can work towards retaining your existing clients or showcasing what you can do when it comes to attracting new clients. Because if you look at the leftmost graph there or table, Medicare advice is one of the top requested services amongst individuals looking for an advisor. So if you can showcase that to them, that will help with prospecting. And a lot of our customers would say it has helped them with prospecting. And then that bottom right side, the services expected versus received, that 4% of clients who are actually receiving health insurance guidance that actually matches what the T3 survey says. So maybe they are on point with that because they had said 5%, but 65% expect it. So I think, we want to be helping advisors shrink that gap between what's expected and what's actually delivered. And both of our tools really help to drive that home.
To put a bow onto it and move to the wrap up of the session, you all know the famous Teddy Roosevelt saying, clients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I feel that both the Bento and Caribou systems help you advisors to demonstrate how much you care. And that just builds trust and goodwill that benefits everyone.
Can't say it better than Teddy. That's for sure. So Philip, how much does Bento cost? How does the cost structure work?
Oh, that's a direct question coming from the audience, which is awesome. The price point is quite accessible. It depends on the number of content programs that you buy and the number of seats that you buy. But even for small, single, 5-seat type of firms, it's roughly $1,500 per seat per year. To note, when I say seat, we only charge for the lead advisor seat. Whatever the support structure might be, junior advisor, sales assistant, analyst, we empower those for free.
Fantastic. We work with a different model, actually. We use it based off of household utilization. We don't expect to work with all of your households. If you're using a system like Bento Engine, it makes it really easy to identify, how many households you might expect to put into Health Planner within the next 12 months. And that's how we brace our pricing. We offer discounts for higher volume of pricing. Otherwise, it starts at $380 per household. So a slightly different model, but both, I guess, usage-based to a certain extent. Where can the audience find more information about Bento Engine or book a demo? Or is there any last thoughts that you want to leave our audience with today, Philip?
No, finding us is super easy. bentoengine.com. You can learn about our content programs. You can download some white papers and materials. You can watch some videos. You can read some press articles. You can book a demo if you want a personalized follow-up conversation. That's all possible via our website, bentoengine.com. You can even click the Install Now button and get going within minutes. That's fun too. We're also active on LinkedIn and Twitter. How about you, Christine? How can people learn more about Caribou?
Yeah, same deal. CaribouWealth.com. You can book a demo. You'll probably get me on the other line. I can walk you through in more detail what the whole process looks like, or even share the client-facing side of the platform with you as well if you're interested in seeing what your clients will see. Can't get started directly on our website yet. It is something that we do like to walk through with you, understand what your usage is going to be. It's usually not something advisors have a lot of experience with too. So we really want to help you get implemented, get onboarded, make sure your advisors understand the experience that they will receive and that clients will get as well. But that process is all very straightforward and seamless. It can take, less than an afternoon for us to get you up and running and off to the races. You can find us on LinkedIn as well. We're really active there, as well as on Twitter, Caribou_wealth, if you want more information. Philip, this has been so fun. I don't know where the last 50 minutes went. We got some questions throughout as well, so I think the audience enjoyed. It's so good to see you, and we'll talk after the Super Bowl on Sunday and see what the outcome was.
Likewise, Christine, and thank you to all out there on the audience for continuing to lead with advice.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you, Philip. Thank you, everyone.